Generic greetings and welcome to Preview plus Deathtrap. This is a tower defense game with action RPG elements. You will create a character, as you can see on the right hand side. I've already got a sorceress level 4. I can go to create character and select sorceress, mercenary or marksman. Sadly the latter two are not available because this is in early access. As of the time of recording, it's been out about 6 hours. So the typical disclaimers apply for this video. Nothing you see is final, everything is subject to change. Any bugs or lack of polish in places, etc, etc, please attribute it to its in-dev status. So I'm just going to go on my sorcerer character and we're going to click play. I'm going to show you a little bit of the single player because cooperative and versus mode are not yet in the game. Now I've probably played about 2 hours of the game so far. And I must confess, there's not a lot of game to show you, but from what I've seen, I do like it. Anyway, so we've got this, we've got 3 levels here. As I said, I've completed completed all 3 of them, and sadly that's all it's in at the moment. But I'm just going to show you the Dark Moor map. This map here where we select it actually is very reminiscent of Dungeon Keeper. That's what it reminds me of. But anyway, we're going to click on Dark Moor. This is one of the maps, and we will put it on normal difficulty. There's campaign and scenario, but you need to unlock that with a higher level, but I honestly don't know if that's in the game yet or whatever. So we'll load it up and I'll run down the UI and show you how it works. Obviously these videos, part tutorial and part first impression. So, top right here we have our mini-map, then we have a wave info button which is very, very useful. It actually gives you a full map of the level so you can see where the enemies are going to spawn. The red line denotes where they're going to go towards our defense point. The core shows you what monsters are going to be in the game, or this wave rather. So Kobold, Wartfiend, Horned Abomination and Eater of the Dead. I wish you'd be able to click on them and open up the encyclopedia. Sadly you can't. There is an encyclopedia to the game, and I would have thought clicking on these would open it, but not at the moment. Obviously, no champions and no bosses for this wave. Next to that, we've got our gate points. That's our gate there. 20 of 20. If 20 mobs or more go through the gate, then you lose. The story goes that you are, I think this is either like a midpoint or a bit of a World of the Dead, a bit of an underworld type thing. And you're trying to stop them getting towards, this car which takes them to the real world or different realm or whatever. I must confess, I don't really pay much attention to the story in early access games. And also, I tend to purposely not do it because it might spoil the story for you. So, I prefer to just leave that as is. Next one is how many monsters are in the wave left. Obviously 0, 0 because we haven't spawned them yet. Our essence, which is used to build traps. And then all of my spells and abilities. So we've got Ice Bolt and Lightning. So left click will find my Ice Bolt, right click will find my Lightning. There you go, there's my lightning there. We've also got my abilities, which I'll show you once we're in the game. We've also got healing potions as well on the very bottom. Start battle button, we don't want to mash that yet. And on the left, we've got our health and our mana as well. Health obviously is used to keep us alive. If that goes to 0, we will respawn back at the core, and our mana used to cast spells and use abilities. So, we have a certain number of traps in our arsenal, and we can place them on these areas. That is a mechanical ground trap, okay, so you can middle click on it and you can select a mechanical ground option. Now there's several different types of trap. There is a mechanical ground, which is that one there. There's a sort of magical ground or a mythical ground, I think it's called, which is sort of flames and that sort of thing. And then you've got these other mechanical sort of turrets like that, and then you also have magical turrets, and then you've got monsters. Currently, we've only got mechanical on this map, so I'm just going to middle click and then select the gun sentry. There you go, and we get this nice steampunk looking gun sentry. We're going to middle click on this trap here, and we're going to build an acid sprayer, acid geyser. Very nice, I like the look of that. We can also middle click on any one of them and level them up, but the options you get is that's dependent on where you put your points when you level stuff up. I'll show you that once we've finished this map. So I'm going to give it an extra poison upgrade. There we go. And this all takes essence, as you can see. We're going to get both of the upgrades that we can. And then this sentry gun, we'll middle click on that and we'll give it more damage. And looks like I'm out of essence. So we might as well start the battle. Now, to move around, it's very, very simple. You just left click anywhere you want to go. Or you can use the arrow keys. I prefer the arrow keys. I'm not a big fan of the control scheme of clicking, because to attack monsters you have to click on them, but it means if I click there, for example, I start running towards it and it's a big problem. So I tend to use the arrow keys. You can actually change the controls as far as I'm aware. In fact, can you do that? Let's have a look. Options, controls. Yep, it looks like you can actually change all that anyway. I would prefer by default using AWS and D and left click to attack and such. I think that would be a better option. But as I said, early access, so these things are always in flux, aren't they? Anyway, monsters and gribblies are coming towards me. I'm just going to keep blatting them with my lightning. These ones are Eaters of the Dead, as you can see on the top there. It shows you how much health they've got left and what's their designation. So they're undead and they do poison damage. The reason they tell me what damage they cause is because you can go to character sheet and you can see our resistances at the bottom there. So if you have a high resistance to, say, fire, you might be able to wade into monsters that have, you know, fire attacks and such. These guys are blattering me with lightning damage. I'm going to lightning damage them back, and that took care of business on that one. Right, so there you go. Wave completed. Monsters killed 14 by myself. Oh no, just in total. Traps 8. Not bad. Cool. Right, let's see if we can get some more levels up. Let's get this gun. Max damage. And a bit of area effect. There's all them maxed out. As you can see, I can only go to a certain number on these here. And that's because I've only got a certain number of points in the upgrades in my character sheet. So again, next wave started and they are coming from up top. Yep, they are coming from up top. I'm just going to run back here. I do like the way it looks, I must confess. This sort of game, when I first saw the screenshots, I thought, oh, that looks a bit dark and a bit dingy and a bit generic. You know, you get this sort of really dark and dingy sort of low fantasy sort of style. I went, I'm not a big fan, but after playing it, I think it fits. It actually fits very, very well. I don't really like comparing things to other games, but it does sort of remind me a bit sort of Dark Soulsy. But and I think it could be wrong, but I think the developers are the same ones that have done the Van Helsing games. So yeah, that's sort of understandable. But I do like the look of it. Now these monsters, as you can see, these Gribblies, these creeps, whatever you would like to call them, they're a bit weird. They're like really hunched over zombies, but what I like about the game is that it does have an edge to the way it looks. It's got a bit of an edge, but it doesn't look weird. Like certain games you can see them and they just look weird, and like they look different for the sake of looking different, and although they have a style, their style is just, you know, a bit off. Like it just basically the more strange the better. Where this, no, it does have an edge to it, but it does have a definite theme for it. It does have a definite theme, and I approve of, actually. Let's put another trap there and get a bit acid on them. I actually want to sell that and put a spike trap there instead. There we go, monsters killed, 25, not bad. Our last wave now, and there's monsters coming from here, so we'll put a spike trap there. See if we can level these up anymore. We can't on that one, and we are out of stuff there as well. What's going to come into this wave? We've got 13 Kobold Wart Fiends. We've got 8 Horned Abominations. We've got 4 Eaters of the Dead, 1 Kobold Tusker, and we've got a boss of Quaglord. Quaglord? Is that a Family Guy thing? Giggity giggity Quaglord's coming for us. I don't think so. Look at that. That's very nice. It's a big statue thing. The game does look quite nice. It does look very nice. Also, it runs very well. Right, let's blatter these guys. I do like when you hit them that they freeze up with it. This is the frost spell. I'm looking forward to a lot of the other abilities, like the fire stuff, and watch them set on fire and things like that. Let's blatter these guys. There we go. We'll do a lightning. Oh, look at all them spikes as well that came out there, and lots of bits of body flying all over the place as well. So we'll hit these guys here, freeze them up. Start splitting them up as well. I've got a longer range. As I said, I'm not a big fan of the click to attack, because if I click, you know, if I click there, you go, oh, you start moving and you basically puts you right off. You want to stay stationary, because on the bottom left you can see it says divided focus. If I'm doing anything but standing still, I don't get much regen, so you always want to do some standing still. Look at all the bits going all over the place. And the shatter as well. They do actually shatter when they're frozen. Let's splatter that there. We've got some gold. Let's do a right click, hit that guy. Looks like we've got a Kobold Tusker, and we'll pick that gold up. Right, our very last boss is coming down, or the very last mob. I haven't actually used any of my abilities, but I'm going to use a area effect. Well, it's not even area effect, it's just all over the map. Icy Wind. Boom, look at that. Hits them for a very decent amount of damage, actually. This guy's casting something away. I'm just going to blatter him in the back. Looks like he's putting an ability of fire on the floor, which I don't want to be standing in. I'm going to use another one of my abilities, which is Transmutation Charm. It actually increases the damage of something, so I'm going to put it on that trap, which is going to make a blatter that guy there. Oh, that guy's going down. Look at his health at the top. It's getting hit really hard. Oh, I don't want to stand there. My health's going right down. If you die, by the way, you just get respawned back at the main course. So I'm just going to pick all these up, and victory! There you go. That was a quick look at that one. We'll just go to the Blue Moon Staff, pick that up. So there you go. Very first level. Very, very quick, and very quick. I mean, I've done it several times already, so there's a reason for that. So we'll go back to the main menu. Now, normally if you've done a level that you haven't done before, or if you completed on a higher difficulty, then you will get a certain number of skill points for your character and for your trap. So if we go at my actual skills, you can see I've got loads of combat skills, currently 2 here as well. Well, currently 2, Ice Bolt and Lightning, which you saw me use several times in that last round there. We've also got Transmutation Charm and other things as well. So we've got our trap skills. Pyromancy increases the damage on fire traps for 0.8% per level. We've got, world skills, so passive abilities, 1% ice vulnerability to all enemies. As you level up, you can see that says level requirement 15 and 30. You'll unlock different levels. So that's I guess that's like grid 1, grid 2, grid 3, or whatever. I don't know if these are in the game yet or not. I've played, like I say, about 2 hours of the game so far. You can switch your skills around, so if I wanted to say, put a different ability there, then I can do that. As you can see, select a slot, left click. We will not reset that because I don't want to do that at all. Close that. We can go to traps, and we can see we've got mystical ground and mechanical ground. This is what I was on before. The ones in the floor are the ground ones, obviously. So mystical ground, we've got lava grill, we've got icicle field, and we've got stasis trap. Mechanical ground, acid, spear trap, and essence trap. That sounds pretty good. That phoenix pillar sounds good. That's a mystical tower, and obviously we got mechanical tower. You've seen the mechanical towers. That's the machine gun. We got mystical tower as well, which is lightning pillar, frost pillar. They all do different things. Obviously you can see when you mouse over them what they tend to do. So we've got enemy, that one there says where damages single enemy for 170 lightning damage, and also bounces between different enemies as well. But you can put more points into them to increase its damage, or increase its range, or decrease its cooldown time, or increase its firing speed. And you can see that these got different levels up here as well. So I've currently got 1 star, 1 level in that poison, and 1 star in the corrosive cloud. That unlocks the abilities I can level up once I'm in the game, as you saw when I leveled them up. A lot of other traps I haven't got. Blast Furnace. Ooh, Blast Furnace. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. Razor Launcher. That sounds even better. Archer Post and Reanimator Pit. They're pretty good. This is a creature pit, and that actually spawns a big monster like a werewolf and starts attacking things. That's pretty good as well. I like that. This one looks like it levels up as well. In order to unlock traps, you need to beat 8 different maps. Sadly, there's only 3 maps in the game, so obviously that ain't getting unlocked. But yeah, we've got Archer Post and Reanimator Pit. Lots of levels on all of these different things. I'm not too sure why they split it up. I don't know why there's a difference between mystical and mechanical. I don't know why you would need to split it up. I don't know why there's a need to do that. Obviously, they do different things, but I don't know if it's spreading butter too thin, or it's like the character sheet, for example. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resistances. I don't know how much that is needed because I just kill the opponents. Like, I understand the need for it in a RPG. Like, for example, if you're versing a boss that you know has got very, very high lightning damage, you want to beef up your lightning resistance. I'm just not too sure it really has any, bearing in the game at the moment. Like, there's no real point in having it, as far as I can tell. Now, obviously, is in early access, and there's still a lot, more to go, and the balance part of it, which obviously resistances and things like that, the fine tuning of all the numbers comes right at the end, which is obviously nowhere near now. So we don't know. That'll be changed as we go on. We've also got a store, which you can buy different equipment. Obviously, this is my character here with my health, armor, damage, mana, all of the details for my abilities, so my cooldown, my fire skills, critical chance. Obviously, different equipment will increase or decrease certain stats and all of that sort of thing. This is in my backpack. I've got a really crap staff. I'm going to sell it. There we go. In my stash, I have a topaz ring, so I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it. Sell it. Sell it. I'm actually getting money for every time I sell that, but it's not removing it from my stash. Win! That's the best bug in the world. Obviously, you can see we've got this special offer thing here, but currently I don't think it's in. As far as I can tell, it ain't in the game yet. But I think that's a very, very quick look at the game so far. There's also a crafting bit, but sadly it's not in the game. Encyclopedia, as you can see, you can look at all of the gribblies that we can find in the game. I wish you could access this from the map where you show all the monsters in the next wave, but I'm sure, well, that might be changed at some point. But that's like a, I think that's a must, really. If you can see the monsters, surely you should be able to click on them and open up the encyclopedia. But anyway, that's a quick look at the game. There's another couple of levels. There's Pale Keep and there's Forest of the Fallen, but I haven't shown you that, nor will I, because it's pretty much just the same thing. The only difference is that one there, I can actually show you what these other traps are like, but they're very similar. They work the same way. They just might do something different, like slow them down or whatever. So there is a reason to switch the different traps around and such. So far, I like what I see. I just wish there was more to see. This is pretty much that's in the game so far. So if we just go back to the main menu, we can see that there is an editor button. We can click on that, and we can also create a project and make a custom map that can be shared and downloaded from the Steam Workshop. So if you create a map or other people have created a map, you can share them, and that'll probably give it a bit of life at this early stage. At the moment, like I said, I like what I see. There's just not a lot to see, so hopefully if people start creating maps, then you might be able to play on them, and it'll give it a bit of a boost at this very early stage. Like I said, I like what I see, and I do like the game. I'm just not convinced there's a lot for most people. Now, there is a dev blog and a full list of what they're planning on doing in the next couple of months, so you can follow that on their website or on Steam as well. They do have several months planned out on there, so you can see what they're planning on bringing to the game. But yeah, I do like what I see. I just don't think there's a lot of it. So generally, early access games fall into two categories: either tech demos, which may or may not be completed and you can't really see what you're going to get, or fully completed games, pretty much where they're just trying to polish a couple of things off. This falls squarely in the middle, I think. You can see what you're going to get, but it still has to be built. All the mechanics and the basic stuff's in there, and what is in the game is very fun and very solid. There's just not a lot of game in it. So it is really up to you whether you want to buy into it at this early stage. I do like it, but I don't know what it's going to have for most people. But links are in the description. You can check it out yourself as always. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and generic partings.